So let's take time to talk about LIFO. What does LIFO mean? LIFO basically means, write it down, last in, first out. The last item in your layers of inventory comes out first. The last item in your layers of inventory comes out first, and we'll talk about those layers in a minute. FIFO means first in comes out first. That means the first items in your layers of inventory comes out first. The first items in your layer of inventory are used first for determining cost of goods sold. Then we have the weighted average, which is the weighted average cost of inventory. We're going to discuss all three of these. Let's start out with LIFO and let's look at this problem. Here we have a problem that surrounds Bob's Bike Shop. And he has the Davis brand mountain bike, which is one of their top sellers. All right? So here's how Bob purchased bikes. The beginning inventory of bikes he had on hand in units are 6. He then purchases on June 8th 10 more bikes. And then on December 6th, he purchased another 4 more bikes. Everybody can see that Bob is buying bikes periodically. Each one of these transactions are layers. These 3 transactions represent 3 layers. The first layer of the 3 transactions is the beginning inventory. The second transaction of the 3 layers represents 10 purchases that Bob made of the Davis brand. The next on December 6th was 4 more bikes that Bob made of the Davis brand. 3 different times, 3 different layers. Each time Bob bought a bike, these were his costs. In beginning inventory, it cost $305. His purchase on June 8th cost $317. His purchase on December 6th cost $350. Stop right here. Now we see that the costs are rising every time Bob buys a series of bikes. But let's look at this. The goods available for sale of Bob in units, right, units on top of this, are 20. How did I get 20? Let's look back at our formula. The formula for goods available for sale is beginning inventory plus purchases. Beginning inventory plus purchases. That's how I got 20 units available to sell. Correspondingly, if I do the multiplication, put an X next to this, and multiply it out, it's telling me what my total cost of these inventory layers are. My beginning inventory total cost is $1,830. All I did was take 6 times $305 to get that. My June 8th layer is 10 times $317 or $3,170. My December 6th layer is 4 times $350 or $1,400. These each are my total cost layers. This represents units. This represents unit price. This represents total cost of each layer by taking just the units times the unit price. Therefore, my 20 units available for sale totally cost $6,400. My total number of units of 20 totally cost me $6,400. That's how I arrived at my goods available for sale in units and my goods available for sale in dollars. I'll go back through that one more time really quick. I started out with 6 units in inventory. Those units cost me $305. The total cost of that beginning inventory layer is $1,830. I then went out and bought on June 8th another 10 bikes of the Davis brand at $317 per bike. That layer cost me $3,170. I finally on December 6th bought another 4 Davis Bikes, brand bikes, at $350 for $1,400. What did I have available for sale? 20 bikes. How much is the total cost of those 20 bikes? $6,400. All I did was added up each layer, and I added up my beginning inventory plus purchases of the number of units. That's fairly simple, straightforward math. My goods available for sale, I now have calculated using this approach. Let's take it one step further. On June 10th, I sold 15 bikes. Now remember I talked about previously that goods available for sale is beginning inventory plus the purchases. I also told you that goods available for sale is the cost of goods sold, and it also represents ending inventory. So if you add these two together, you're going to get goods available for sale. If you add these two together, you're going to get goods available for sale. Let's look at this problem. My beginning inventory was 6 units, and my purchases represent 14 units, and I got 20. Therefore, my 20 here represent what was sold, which was 15, and what's left, which is 5. How did I get that? I had 20 units available to sell. I sold 15. I now have 5 in ending inventory. 20 units available for sale. I sold 15. Therefore, I have 5 in ending inventory. That's fairly simple. Now, let's see how LIFO, FIFO, and weighted average is impacted. Here's how it works. LIFO says the last item in comes out first. Now, one thing to remember when you employ LIFO, FIFO, or weighted average, you need to know the number of units sold. You need to know the number of units sold. Stop right there.